Hello, and welcome to Got Clutter Get Organized Conversation. This week's conversation is going to be about our workspace, and I want to provide with you 10 ways that you can actually organize your workspace before the new year. I know you're working on those end of the year projects and you've got those deadlines, those timelines, but these are just little things that you can do so that one, when you do go out on your, end of the year holiday, or actually you want to start the new year more organized, these are simple things you can do. Number one, let's start with the desk because that is a space where we work constantly. So it's basically if there's something that needs to be archived, if there's something that needs to be scanned, something that needs to be shredded, begin to move those things away from your desk. And also, sometimes we have those trinkets, those things that just make it feel like our personal desk. Sometimes those things become a permanent fixture when maybe they need to just be moved along. So think about decluttering your desk. Number two, create a filing system, whether it's a physical file, whether it's a desktop file for maybe those project information and documents, or whether it's digital files, making sure you organize things so that you can find it the first time you look and begin to ask yourself, do I really need to keep this information? Is it something I need to keep for 6 months? Is it something I need to keep for a year? Or is it something I can just let go? Number three, the cords and the cables. Let's put safety first and actually streamline those. There's so many wonderful products available, and I'll have a link below to one of those products that you can use to actually organize those cords so they're not all over the place. And specifically for those of you who work from home, who've got children, who've got pets, or even just yourself, to organize them so they're a lot safer and they're more streamlined and more organized. Number four, clean out the email. There may be an email sitting in your inbox from January of 2024, but also maybe of January 2023. Do you still need it? If not, spend some time. You'll be surprised at how much of that junk email you can get rid of when maybe you're just sitting there, maybe you're listening to music. Maybe sometimes, a lot of times when I'm having conversations with people, a lot of times I'll just go through and I'll get rid of that junk email. Number five, refresh your supplies. We've all had the pens that don't write, the pencils that are too small, so it's time to get rid of those and then bring in some new ones, specifically to start the year off right. Number six, tidy up your desktop. And we're talking about right now those virtual files. Sometimes you turn that computer on and boom, that is like you're looking at a little cluttered mess. So make things a lot more streamlined by creating folders, putting them maybe onto the drive so that only those important documents are right on that screen. And I'll give you just a little behind the scenes of actually what I do because I do a lot of trainings. Sometimes I can do anywhere from 10 to 20, even 30 trainings a month. And once I am done, all of those training materials are on my desktop. So all I have to do is just click them immediately. But once I'm done the training, I get rid of them off of my desktop. So hopefully that can help you move towards the new year, the end of the year, but also the new year with a clearer desktop. Create a task list is number seven. Now, a lot of you have digital calendars. Some of you have planners. Some of you use both. But if you only have a digital calendar, create a system for you to keep track of the things that you need to do, which is why I like a planner because it allows me to track all the tasks I need to do in order to complete something. It has it visible. I can check it off, which just gives me that little bit of satisfaction. So think about creating and having a system in place for that. Number eight, those personal touches. Now, I mentioned before, we like to have the little things on our desk that just kind of give it that personal touch. But how much do you need? A little bit here, a little bit there. But once it feels cluttered and you get a little overwhelmed, it may be time to take a few of those things out. Number nine, those backup files. Making sure you have a system for that, whether it's on a drive, whether it's on a thumb drive, whether it's on an external drive, so that you can have that comfort in knowing that should you need something, that there'll always be a backup for it and making sure you also organize that backup system. And of course, number 10, setting up some of your work goals. What are your career, your business, your work goals for basically the new year? But not only your work goals, how are you going to be more effective and efficient? It may be upgrading your equipment, or it may be deciding, you know what, I am no longer going to print things out. That was one of the decisions I made years ago. It's like, you know what, I am going to do my best to read a document without printing it. Now, there are times when I have to print it because of, the nature of it, and then I've got to sign it. But really think about, how are you going to be more effective and efficient? Are you going to have like multiple projects on your desk, or you're only going to just have one at a time? When you're finished with it, then you're going to actually have a process in place and how to deal with that, and then move on to the next one? Or are you just going to continue moving forward with a lot of different projects, documents, information, cluttering up your workspace? So these are things you can do just a little at a time. You don't feel like you have to do them all, but I'm going to review them once again. Declutter your desk, because they're finding that we're more effective and efficient when we come in to our workspace and it's not full of a lot of clutter. So try to end your workday with a clear desk. Number 2, create a filing system. It could be digital, which we're going to talk about. That's one of the tips. But also your physical files. And do you need to purge and get rid of things? Maybe from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Number 3, organizing those cords and those cables. Just imagine being able to actually see underneath your dress, because everything is more organized and streamlined when it comes to your cords and cables, making it a lot more safer for your pets, for your children. And of course, number 4, you want to clean out those emails. Do you really need an email from last year? Now, sometimes you may, and then you could create a folder where you can actually put that email, because it may be related to a document that and a project that may be 5 years. So you need to keep some of those details, but put it in a folder. It doesn't have to be in your inbox. Refresh those supplies is number 5, making sure that you have pens that write, pencils that are not too short, and also ink cartridges, making sure you have enough of those on hand. And then also, if you have to recycle them, making sure you do that. Tidy up your desktop is number 6, and making sure that those folders are organized, but also your desktop is not cluttered with all the different documents you've created because you've already put them in a folder. Number 6, create a task list. Maybe it's a year-end task list of things that you want to get done before the end of the year. So create that list and start scheduling time and start marking things off of the list, because really crossing things off the list just kind of gives me the sense of satisfaction. 8, now you can add personal touches. Sometimes personal touches can be color, sometimes personal touches can be a plant, but don't go overboard and clutter your space. Back up those files, back up those files, back up those files is number 9, because you want to have a system in place. Again, whether it's an external drive, an internal drive, a shared drive, but making sure those documents are in a place safe so you can access them whenever you need them. And number 10, set some 2025 workspace goals. Maybe you want to be more efficient. Maybe you want to clear your desk off at the end of the day. Maybe you just want to be able to find things the first time you look. Maybe you want to stop the shuffle paper, where you put paper one place, then you move it to the next, then you move it someplace else. So think about some of those things. And again, these are things you can do leading up to the new year. You could start just by making sure all the pens right and the pencils are not too small. And you can also think about what goals you want to set, and then you can really focus them in the new year. So share with me some of your workspace goals. I would love to hear. Make sure you comment below. So again, I want to thank you so much for joining me for this solo episode, where I provide you with a few strategies on how to organize that workspace before the new year.